Alright, this is John Cola with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. We're here at the 2014 Woodstock Food Festival. Man, we're having an amazing time here. There's so many different lectures going on. I'm actually up and giving a lecture tomorrow. And I'm sorry to say you guys missed it, but you guys could come out in 2015 because they are doing it again. 1 week, mark it on your calendar. Check out woodstockfoodfestival.com and sign up now to get the low introductory price before the price goes up. In any case, because you guys were not able to be here, I'm taking some of the speakers that I look up to aside and basically having them share their knowledge with you on specific lectures that they've done. So today I have Don Bennett, DAS, with me here. He's been into a raw foods, fruit-based diet for over 20 years now. He's a wealth of knowledge, and to tap some of this knowledge, you're going to want to check him out at his website, health101.org. But today, what we're going to talk to Don about is the best ways to get protein on a raw vegan diet. He gave a 1 hour lecture, and we're not going to go over all the different ways, but we're going to go over the top 3 ways so that you can implement some of these to ensure you get enough protein so they're not protein deficient. So Don, what do you say, top 3 ways to get enough protein on a raw vegan diet?
Right, to ensure you get enough protein on a raw vegan diet, sometimes we hear, hey, you don't even have to think about it. Just eat a raw vegan diet, you'll automatically get enough protein. Well, it's not that simple. The devil is in the details sometimes, right? So number 1 tip, you need variety. Because remember, protein isn't like a carbohydrate. It's made up of multiple things called amino acids. That's what makes up proteins. And your body takes in protein from things and splits them up into the individual amino acids, files them away in all their little file cabinets, and then when it has to make eyeballs, it takes out from this cabinet and makes an eyeball. I mean, you know you don't need to eat eyeballs to make eyeballs, so that's not how it works. So that you can make eyeball protein from your plant-based diet. So since different foods have different ratios of amino acids, different amino acid profiles, you need to eat a variety. So number 1 would be variety. Variety is key for a lot of reasons, but certainly for getting enough of all the individual amino acids. Number 2 tip for making sure you get enough protein, be appropriately active. If you're a couch potato, now remember, you got to keep in mind, a fruit diet, people say, well, that's very low in protein. I mean, where do you get your protein from? Because they're comparing it to something that's higher in protein. But it's not too low in protein if you're appropriately active. If you're appropriately active and you don't cook your fruit, because if you cook the fruit, now you're definitely going to get a protein deficiency. But we don't really we don't have watermelon stew or anything like that. No, so we don't cook our fruit. That's great. But if you're inactive, if you're sedentary and you're eating for your proper caloric needs, you're eating less food than you're designed to eat, now you'll get in less protein, and your protein requirements and your caloric requirements don't do this. They're not tied together. They're doing their different things. So you're eating a lower amount of food. You still have certain protein requirements that are here, but now you're not eating enough food to supply them. So you could bump up against one amino acid deficiency. I've seen it happen with my clients. It actually happened to me when I was writing my first book. I was totally inactive. I was a computer potato for months and months and months. It was a very bad thing to do. I will never do that again. I promise. I swear. I'm promising my body, actually. But I bumped up against an amino acid deficiency because I normally nowadays, after 20 years of eating a raw food diet and all my healing is finished and I'm very efficient, I can eat less food than I did 20 years ago. So I'm automatically eating less food. And then I was less active. Now I'm eating even less food. And I got an amino acid deficiency. It was easy to fix. It wasn't a problem. I know how to recognize it. So it is technically possible. It's not probable for a lot of people. So in other words, if you're being appropriately active, then you don't have to worry about it. And you don't cook your food, then you don't have to worry about it. Now, number 3 also has to do with activity, John. Don't be overactive. Now, wait a minute. Now, how can overactive give you a problem with getting enough protein? Well, when you're really overactive and you're doing balls-to-the-wall stuff, there's a lot of breaking down and rebuilding of muscle tissue, a lot of catabolic and anabolic muscle tissue work. And that needs more protein than you're designed to get. Okay? So you could really technically bump up against an amino acid deficiency by being overactive, requiring a lot of calories of food, and maybe you're not eating a variety, maybe you're just eating a lot of bananas, and bananas are short in 2 of the amino acids, the sulfur amino acids, methionine and cysteine, so it's technically possible. So you don't want to be needing more. So in other words, number 3 is don't need more protein than you would normally need as a human being. So that's number 3. Number 2 was don't not eat enough food and not be active enough. And number 3 is don't be overactive. It's a balance. We need balance when it comes to activity, just like anything else.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I want to say is that, you know, if you eat a variety of plant foods and eat enough of them based on your activity level and don't, you know, be underactive and don't be overactive, you're gonna be fine. I mean, this whole protein myth that you can't get enough protein on a, you know, plant-based diet, it's just all hogwash. You know, you've been, in my opinion, been misguided for all these years. And I think, in a matter of fact, you know, most Americans eat far too much protein, and they're, you know, losing their lives of protein excess diseases that are occurring today. So I want to eat the appropriate amount of protein for me, and in my opinion, that's a plant-based, you know, raw vegan diet. And yes, you can also get enough protein on a standard vegan cooked diet as well. I mean, as long as you're eating a variety, you're gonna get enough protein. So that covers that. And in this episode, you've learned some of the top tips to ensure you're gonna get enough if you are concerned about it. So Don, if somebody wants to learn about some other tips, because I know you gave an hour-long lecture on this very subject, how can they learn about some of the other tips that you gave in your lecture?
A lot of the tips on the misconceptions that are out there, because you can't get enough protein on a raw food diet, that's a misconception, misinformation. And I put a lot of pieces of misinformation, including a lot of raw food misinformation that's there, not just the mainstream misinformation, in my latest book, which is What Can Do You the Most Harm Is What You Know That Just Isn't So. And you can get that on my website, health101.org.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, whether you buy Don's book or not, you want to check out health101.org. It's a wealth of knowledge, and he has a lot of free educational articles that you can read and learn from. You want to be sure to check out the EDU section specifically, and that's where, you know, all the gems lie for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode learning how to get enough protein on a raw vegan diet. Protein is just not an issue, period, end of story. So once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep eating your fruits and vegetables. They're always the best, and they do have enough protein. Right, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this episode is going to be a short one of that. The question is, I got a nice horse here. Where does the horse get its protein? I mean, this thing towers over me. It's super huge. If we look in its mouth, and I'm not going to open up.